Howdy. Howdy. You know, I should have known better. When Patricia asked me to give a few words, I should have looked on the program of where she was going to try to insert me. Following her act is one that is going to be really difficult to do. But I'll give it my best. Second thing, you know, you give a department head the podium, there's nobody up here to yank me off. I'm going to try to keep this short. The highlights are very numerous, and as people that have been sitting at my table for dinner have had to hear me espouse all the great things I think entomology is doing. Going through a big kind of campaign right now to better tell our story. With the words entomology we use, we're discovering. And think about that. In my mind, why I like that, I go back to my childhood and think about all the days I dug the deepest hole in my parents' yard looking for china. Or searching the backyard at night with my little head beam, finding whatever creatures I could find in the ivy and behind the oleanders bushes. And as well, thinking about traveling to various countries. So I think that's pretty much kind of what entomology is. It's very broad, as you've already heard, and allows for lots of opportunities. But it's also a place where we create knowledge that helps people's lives. And that's what I'm going to focus on. And the way that we accomplish that is we are truly, as you see scattered out here among the midst, a network of faculty, staff, and students that work together to accomplish that. And to be successful today, you have to have a global presence. And if you look among the tables here, there's some really interesting statistics about our own Department of Entomology. First of all, a student can travel the world just in our own department. We have faculty that come from every continent of the globe that are within our own department, sharing their own experiences, cultural backgrounds, stories to allow students to see what the world's about. The undergraduate population, if you just look out among you, is 57% women. And 38% are in the first generation ever of going to college. 30% are non-Caucasian. So it's a very diverse kind of department. The graduate students, of which we have representation here, is similar. 50% are female. A little statistic I want to share. Trivial Pursuit will come at the end. Marvin, you'll be the quiz master for this. In 2001, we had 43 undergraduates that declared entomology in some sort, fashion, as their primary area of interest. Over the last 3 years, if we average over the last 3 years, we've had now 141 undergraduate entomologists in our department. We now train 1/3 of all entomologists in the United States in the Department of Entomology at Texas A&M University. That's both a lot of swagger. A guy my size can swagger a lot. You don't want to see me do it, trust me. But it's also a responsibility that 1/3 of all entomologists that will work in the United States will pass through this department. In the fall of 2007, we decided to also take on another adventure. So we were approved to start a second degree in the department, the degree of Forensic and Investigative Sciences. And in the first offering, which happened about a week after approval of that degree, we had 72 students in the first offering of our new forensics degree. In spring of 2008, forensic entomology had 141 students in it. And the new student enrollment for fall of 2008 has 32 new students declaring forensics and investigative science as their major. This is not a department where discovery ever lacks. So the other thing that we do on the research front is to create new knowledge. And I'm just going to go over a little bit of that because this is something I really like to brag about. You all know about rankings, right? So we all dream of the day that Texas A&M football will be ranked #1. Basketball program's doing quite well. You have your own favorite show. Maybe you were watching American Idol and are rooting for somebody. You've all got something you're ranking. So Dr. Nelson, very similar. There's a very prestigious journal called the Chronicles of Higher Education that ranks departments. And where do we fall in that? So Texas A&M entomology faculty rank first in the country in the number of dollars they bring in from federal grants and the number of publications they produce. They are #1 in the country. Students are also part of that, which some of you saw people stand up. Remember, we are a network of faculty, staff, and students. So what are some of the student projects? We had students working on the survey of mosquitoes that might carry West Nile virus here in Bryan and College Station. Some of you may know West Nile was detected on the Texas A&M campus, so a project very relevant to the needs of the population. I know you're eating dessert, but there's also work that people have done on developing different methodologies for identifying flies that occur on corpses. And another angle is students have helped us to develop curricula to address the needs of special students in entomology. On the teaching front, our students say many things about how what faculty does improves their lives. And I love reading quotes like this. First quote, I told people if I could take classes from faculty member X for the rest of my time at Texas A&M, I'd be happy. Awesome instructor, great person. Second quote, Dr. X is by far one of the greatest profs at Texas A&M University. If only he could have taught every course I took. Not only does he have a high positive attitude towards his area of study, his concerns with the successes of his students are amazing. I want to pause, reflect upon that. We have faculty that are the top researchers and the top teachers. I'm going to ask all the faculty to stand right now, and for the students and the parents of those students to show their appreciation for the faculty for what they've done for your students. Faculty, if you'd rise. So just a few other little tidbits for you to take home for your Trivial Pursuit games. And if you ask, what is my kid going to get out of entomology? Let me tell you some of the exciting applied things that go on. Many of your students work with the insect collection, which is a tremendous resource in the department. And what that does is allow our group of faculty that work in insect systematics, as an example, to look at the impacts of human activity on the diversity of insects, and especially how they may respond to seasonal changes, habitat changes, climatic changes. You've all heard a lot about global warming. We have a faculty member now, as of course you're filling yourself with your nice dessert, who works on dietary choices of grasshoppers and how that may relate to human obesity. You can talk to him after the fact about what dietary choices you should have taken at your table. Other faculty members work with insects for their pharmaceutical properties. So how many of you knew that work done with insects will save more than 11,000 women this year from getting cervical cancer, or maybe save 218,000 men with prostate cancer? That's coming from the work on insect cells. We also have a suite of faculty that do everything they can to develop new tools and techniques to combat the pests that are persistently trying to eat your house, the food you eat, the pets that you adore, and vector every possible disease that tries to kill you. These people are out to protect your way of life. So I guess I'm going to pose the following question about discovering entomology. What are you waiting for? Come join us and the students and the faculty as we continue down this path toward discovering new things that will influence your life. And I look forward to speaking to you maybe again next year about some of the new discoveries in the department. Thank you very much for your attention.